Good morning, it is 10:30 on the 12th of September. Just heading off out now, just going to see what it's like. I'm guessing it's going to be quite quiet because it has been quiet during the days. I said to myself yesterday I wasn't going to come out again pretty much between like 10 and 2 because it's just too quiet. But I need to pop out anyway because I've got half a dozen parcels to take back to different locations. So I thought, well, while I'm out, I'll go online and I'll see if anything happens. If not, I'll just come back and I will come back out later on instead. So yeah, stay tuned and I will let you know if anything is happening. Quick little update. It says 11:45, so it's been an hour and 15 minutes. It was really slow, to be honest. I set off, I didn't get my first job for half an hour, so that was a Southport to Southport for £3.71, and then straight after that I got another job, Southport to Southport, £8.04 for 2.3 miles. That first one was only for 0.4 of a mile, and then I've just done another Southport to Southport, £6.32 for 2.3 miles. So I've only done £18.07 in just over an hour. So really slow. Well, technically all that was in the last half an hour. So the first half an hour, just absolutely nothing. I said to myself, if I don't get a job within the first hour, I'm just going to go back home because it's pointless. So yeah, I've just done them 3 little jobs then. The first one was it was a woman that I collected from Southport the other day, and I took her to Liverpool, and she was just dropping a suitcase off, and I lifted the suitcase in the back, and it was as though like there was nothing in it. I thought, it's a bit odd going all the way to Liverpool just for a suitcase. And she said, oh yeah, she said my friend needed to borrow a suitcase, so I'm lending her mine. She's going to Turkey, and the funny thing is I'm going away as well, so I'm going to have to go and borrow a suitcase off someone else. So I thought, oh, okay, didn't think much of it. There was a slight waft of weed, but you get that on probably 10% of customers these days, I reckon, stink of weed. So that was it, didn't think much of it. So anyway, I've just come to Southport. My first job was that same lady again. So she got in, I said, oh, alright. I said, like, I feel like you're a private chauffeur. I said, oh, how was the suitcase the other day? She said, you know, was it okay with your friend? And she said, yeah. She said, the whole funny story is, she said, because my brother smokes weed, she said the suitcase smells of weed. And I said, oh, right. And she said, and I said, but haven't you lent that suitcase to your friend to go on holiday? I said, so don't you think like the sniffer dogs are going to go mad? And she was like, oh, well, I did give her a little bit of a wipe out. I was like, yeah. I said, she's going to get turned over at the airport over there. They were going to Turkey. I said, they're going to get turned over in Turkey. So I was just laughing my head off. The second customer, I don't know why. I've noticed that more now doing this particular job. A lot of people stink. Like, I don't know if people just, like, they're not aware, but surely you must be aware if you smell, because surely you've got a nose, or if people don't tell you. But anyway, like, I just picked this like young lad up. He's going out, he's on the phone, yeah, I'm on my way now. Dropped him off the train station, he's going to meet people, and he reeks so bad. And then you feel rude putting the window down as soon as they get in, because you're basically saying you stink. So my only saving grace is I've got an automatic air freshener that goes off like every 15 minutes in the back. But as soon as you got out, I had to leave the back slide door open for a minute, and both front windows, because it just absolutely stunk. So anyway, I reckon a good 20% of people who get in this taxi stink. And then that was it. That last one, just picked up a lady who was going to work. Picked her up from the supermarket, and initially I thought like she worked in, you know, like a cosmetic kind of thing. She was all like, you know, like dolled up to the nines, and she got in, she went, oh, hello again. I was thinking, I don't really recognise her. And she was like, oh, she said, your son never phoned me. I'm thinking, hell, my son? She said, you know, your son, the electrician, And I was like, I said, oh no, I said, you must have me mixed up for someone else. I said, my son's only 5. I said, I know he's got a thing for blondes. I said, but he's not doing electrician jobs. I said, because he's 5. Like, so she was laughing. She said, I got in a taxi the other day. She said it was just like this one. She said, I was talking to the driver and I said, I'm looking for an electrician to do some work at mine. She said, and he said, oh, my son's an electrician, can I take your number? She said, so I give him my number. She said, but I haven't heard back from him. I said, yeah. I said, I'm sorry to break it to you. I said, but I'm 100% sure his son is not an electrician. I said, I think he was just after your number. And she was like, oh, do you think so? And I was like, yeah, I think that's exactly what's happened. So yeah, don't be giving your numbers out, people, because it's yeah, don't do it. So that's it. I've only done them 3. I'm just in Southport now, on the promenade here. I will give it 10-15 minutes, and if I haven't got anything, I am going to head back. I know it sounds a bit like defeatist, like just kind of, well, stick it out, but I've done it in the past and I just know that it's just next to nothing comes up, because during the day the jobs are just so quiet, and so few and far between. Like that first one was only £3 something. The £8 one wasn't as bad, but then the other one's just 6. It's just like little short trips, drop me off the train station or pick me up from the supermarket. There's no kind of like decent jobs really. So yeah, I'll give it a tiny bit longer, and then the next update might just be me back at the house, but then I will come back out later on, I think. Let me just check the calendar. I shared the calendar. Yeah, I'm good for later on. So yeah, that's about it, and I will catch you in a bit. Quick little update, it's just turned 12:30, so it's only been 45 minutes, but the last one was a little bit late. I was trying to keep it to the hour ideally. So I've only done 2 jobs in the past hour, in the past 45 minutes. It was a Southport to Southport, £4.36 for 1.7 miles, and then I done a Southport to Southport, £6.45 for 2.8 miles. That last one a little bit of a pain, because obviously you followed all the way to the destination. It was in some little cul-de-sac somewhere, drove all the way in, stopped. So right, okay, is this where you'd like to get out? And he leans forward. He's kind of like broken English. There's a couple, and he was like, oh, we were looking for the botanical gardens. He said, so we've just put this address in. So they've basically just randomly selected a postcode which is near Churchtown, which is where the botanical gardens are, but it was like a mile away. So I was like, right, okay. I said, I can take it over there, but it's like a mile away. This is completely the wrong address. So yeah, basically I just dropped them off there. Now it does come up and say, a slight increase in the fare, and there's like a £1 in the difference. So I don't know, I wonder what everybody else does, because technically they should be adding a stop on because they've given you the wrong address, but then one, they don't know the address, which is a bit daft, and then 2, if that language barrier is there, how do you convey that across to them? I don't know. I thought it was just easier to drive the other mile and just drop them off where they were going, but I've seen it in the past where, especially on nights out, people just try and pull the wool over your eyes. There's like a group that get in and there's only one address on there, but they think, oh, we're going to turn this into like a multi-drop, and I'm like, no, it needs to be on the app. Unless you're getting out on the road that I'm driving down, you have to put it on the app. And then they start putting it in on the app, and then all of a sudden it's increased £3 to drop them off, it's increased £4 to drop the next passenger off. So you are losing out on money, and people know that they have to pay for multi-drop, so they do try and avoid it. But when I was in that one, I think it was just like a genuine mistake, obviously kind of like tourists, but I don't know, surely if you go into the gardens, you type in the address on Google Maps and it gives you the address, copy and paste that into Uber, nice and simple. I'm sure it'd come up in Uber if you started typing it in anyway. So yeah, I don't know why they've taken me to some little cul-de-sac a mile away from the gardens, but yeah. So other than that, I'm currently on £28. Where are we? £28 and 88 pence. So I'm only on £14.44 an hour for the past 2 hours, which is a bit rubbish, to be honest. But I'll carry on for now. Like I said before, if no jobs come up, I was going to go home, but to be fair, 2 little tiny jobs have come up, so yeah, I'll carry on a bit longer. But yeah, other than that, it is quite quiet, really. Yeah, so I will catch you in a bit. Update time, it is 1:30, so it's been an hour, and I've had 3 little jobs again. One was £5.72 for 1.3 miles. Oh, these are all Southport to Southport. I then had a £4.45 for 2.3 miles. I then had a £6.78 for 2.3 miles. So the total up to now is about £45 or just over. So I'm on just over £15 an hour still. So yeah, it's still really slow, but I mean, if the jobs are trickling through, I don't mind staying out. It's just when you're getting like one job every half an hour or something, and it's like a £4 job. To me, that's just, it's pointless. I would earn more money sat at home than I would make sitting there. So that's about it. That last job was quite funny. Picked a lady up. She comes walking out of the house, ciggy hanging out of her mouth. Obviously she's trying to finish as much as she can before she gets to the car. So she's taking loads in, stubs it out on the fence post and gets in. She was like, "Oh, how are you?" I was like, "Yeah, so what are you up to today?" She said, "Well, I'm just off to have some physio." I was like, "All right, everything okay?" She went, "Oh yeah, I have physio on my lungs once a week." And I was like, "Right." I said, what's that for?" She was like, "Oh, just so I can get more oxygen in." She said, "I've got asthma and is it COPD?" And I was like, "All right." I said, "Well, do you think the smoking helps?" And she was like, "Oh, don't you start as well." I was like, "Wow." I said, "So she's on her way to have physio?" And yeah, she turned around and she said, "I've been going for ages. I haven't noticed a blind bit of difference." And I'm like, "Well, you won't if you're smoking, are you? It's not going to help." Oh my god, honestly, it was like touching on what I mentioned the other day, where it's costing like taxpayers like £100 a day per child to drop them off at school and pick them up again. And now, you know, we're basically running classes for people to have physio on the lungs who are chain smokers, and it's not going to end. Surely they should be trying to stop her from smoking. So it's never ending. You know, and people wonder why taxes going up, the country's on its knees. There's another example. You know, how much does it cost to put this on now for all these people to go down to? These are all fully grown adults, for another adult to sit at the front and say, "Yeah, you shouldn't be smoking, and you know, let's try some exercises for your lungs." It's beyond me. But that's more money anyway. More money we're wasting. Speaking of wasting money, I'm hungry, so I might go and get something to eat, and that's about it. It's started to warm up a bit anyway. It's only 15 degrees, but when the sun's out, it's piping hot. So it's one slight plus. Yeah, so I will see you again in an hour, whether I'm still out or whether I'm at home. We will see. Quick little update, it's now 2:30, so it's been another hour. A couple of little tiny jobs again. Southport to Southport, that was £3.81 for 1.5 miles. And then I had a £4.82 for 0.9 of a mile. And then the last one, it's probably the largest one I've had of the day, was £7.46 for 3.7 miles. And I got a £2 tip. I got that one It was a match. I think the guy was like 100 metres away from me, so it was quite handy. So yeah, that one was what, about £9.50 for 3.7 miles. And that is it. An XL job did come up, but I think they must have done it wrong. I accepted that while I was dropping the other guy off. It was like £12.50 or something. I'd just seen it say Southport to Southport, and then like 30 seconds later it popped up saying riders cancelled. So when I've just had a look now, it says basically Duke Street collection point, and the drop off was Duke Street. So they've obviously didn't know what they were doing. They've done it wrong, and that's why they've cancelled it. But then they haven't put in the correct information and redone it again. So yeah, that's about it. I'm just pretty much just off a little side street by Lord Street now. I was just about thinking, I don't know if I might start heading home for a couple of hours before I come back out later, and then I thought, well, it's not far off, like 3 o'clock now, and I thought, well, maybe between like 3 and half 3 might start getting a little bit busier with the schools and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. I'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes and then make my decision, because I just can't just sit here. I wouldn't mind if, I know I've seen some videos where people have like gone to the airport and you know full well you're going to be sat there for like 45 minutes or something. I don't mind that, because I can kind of get into the back and I can get the table out, you know, get my laptop out or something, and you can kind of entertain yourself. But if you just sat here now, you're thinking, well, when is the job going to come? You know, could be 30 seconds, it could be next year. you've got no idea. So yeah, I'm just not one for just sitting around for ages waiting. It's a bit boring, to be honest. So I will keep you posted in about an hour's time, and I'll let you know what my decision was. So I'll catch you then. Quick little update. It is 4:30, so it's been 2 hours since the last update. Just like lots of little jobs really. Again, all Southport to Southport jobs. Where were we? So £8.91 for 3.9 miles. I then had a £6.42 for 2.5 miles, a £5.06 for 2.2 miles, an £8.42 for 2.5 miles, £5.28 for 1.3 miles, and a £4.21 for 1.6 miles. So I'm currently on £101.22. So the average hourly rate, which before I think was about £15 something, it had been slowly creeping up. It's now £16.87. So yeah, it's got better. It's definitely busier, which I thought it was going to be anyway, coming up to 3 o'clock. So yeah, it's been pretty much back-to-back kind of jobs, but relatively smallish jobs. So yeah, not too bad. I'll stay out for a bit longer. I was hoping to try and get home for about 5 o'clock in half an hour, so I might actually head home now and see the family for a little bit, because the little one will be getting home soon. So I think I'd rather go home and see him, and then I'll come back out this evening. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will either catch you in a bit for the next update, unless I start getting some, like, you know, really good jobs, or the next update will probably be when I'm coming back out later on. Not much point in me giving you an update just to say I've got home. So I'll see you in a bit. So last little update, it's 5:30, I've just got home. I was only doing a little update because I set my destination for home, the filtered destination, and after about 2 minutes it gave me a job from Southport to Ormskirk. So I thought, that's not too bad, because that helps a bit. Obviously Ormskirk's closer to my home than Southport is, so I took that. That was £14.41 for 7.4 miles, and then just as I was dropping them off, I then got a job from Ormskirk Hospital, so it was £9.14 doing 6.4 miles, but that took me to about within 2 to 3 minutes of my house, so it was quite handy, to be honest. Nice little like hour just to finish off, and it pretty much brought me straight back home. You know, if you compare that to this morning where I was driving for what, half an hour until I got a job. So up to now I'm on £124.77, and that is for that's for 7 hours. So that now pushes my hourly rate up more, yeah, because of that last hour. So it's on £17.82 now. So a bit of an increase, you know, from this morning when it was down as low as around 15. It's slowly creeping up. So yeah, I'll put the car on charge for a little bit. I've still got 43 miles left. I've done 105 miles. So yeah, I'll put it on charge for it, 'cause I'm gonna, if I do come back out, it's going to be in about 2 hours or so. So yeah, it'll top it back up. It won't fill it back up, it's not long enough. But I'll put a bit of charge back in, which will take me back up to like 90 or 100 miles, which will be more than enough for if I come out for a couple of hours this evening. So yeah, if I come back out, I'll see you in a bit. If not, I will catch you tomorrow for Friday's video. See you then. Good evening, it is 8 o'clock and I'm just about to head out. Just going back online now, and I will stay out for the next couple of hours, and yeah, and see what's happening really. So I will keep you posted shortly and let you know how I've been getting on. Final update. I know I only came out at 8 o'clock before, was it? I've been pretty much back to back until the point of I've now come back home, so it's 10 o'clock, so it's been 2 hours. So when I first set off at 8, I didn't get a job for about 25 minutes, which was the same as this morning, to be honest. That was like half an hour, and again pretty much Ormskirk was dead. It wasn't until I got closer to Southport. So I started off with a little £4.88 for 2.7 miles. Then got another job which was Southport to Southport, £8.89 for 6.7 miles. I then got a Southport to Banks, which is the outskirts of Southport, £8.15 for 5.6 miles. I then got what was it? I missed a few. Oh, that was it. And then I then got, so I was in Southport, and then when I got that job to Banks, I then thought, I'm kind of like, it's kind of in between home and Southport. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I was thinking to myself, do I head home, do I head back into, you know, towards Southport? And then as I was dropping her off in Banks, I then got a job from Banks to Tarleton, which is again closer to mine. So that was pretty much the decision maker. I thought after that I'll come back. I've got about 31 miles left anyway of charge, so it hasn't worked out too bad, to be honest. Couple of little funny ones. Before I got offered a job, so I was in Ormskirk, I got offered a job in Wigan, an Uber XL, for £5.65, and they wanted me to drive 12.6 miles, which was 25 minutes away, to do a 1 mile job. So 13.5 miles in total for £5.65. And this is the thing with the XLs, it seems to be because there seems to be not a lot of them, so you get offered jobs that are miles away. Another one which was annoying, I was in Southport, had a customer in the car, and another job popped up saying, you want this one in a minute, and it was Southport to Southport. Clicked accept, dropped the lady off, and then headed over to Birkdale railway station. So pulled in there, didn't see anyone, and then it said the rider has been notified, and then a timer came up for 10 minutes. I thought, what, 10 minutes? It then said and then at the top it then came up and said scheduled trip 9:15. Now this was, I think it was like 9:05 when I got there. I thought, I don't remember a scheduled trip. Like, it didn't pop up when I accepted it and said, would you like this scheduled trip? It just said Southport to Southport job, so I accepted it. And then underneath it says see pickup info. So I clicked on that and it says 9:15 pickup. You'll be paid £9.38 for completing this trip. If your rider arrives late, you will receive a cancellation fee. If you wait to cancel until 10 minutes after the pickup time. If your rider arrives before the pickup time, you may start early. So basically, I got there at 5:15. He wasn't due there until 15:15, and it was saying I couldn't cancel until 25:15. So it wanted me to sit there for 20 minutes for a £9 job. So it's ridiculous. So I went on to cancel it, and there seems to be more options now. I've noticed it said like there's too many riders, there's no baby seat, they arrived with a pet. I didn't see this there the other week. And then basically scrolled down saying that the waiting time was too long and clicked on that. I thought, who's going to wait over 20 minutes for a £9 job? And that's if he shows up. If he didn't show up and then you cancelled it, you only get like £3.75. So then that's when I then drove off from there and then immediately got that £8.15 job. So it just goes to show what's the point in waiting around. And also I think it was very sneaky because it didn't pop up and say scheduled job, do you want this job? Because I would have clicked no, I'm done with the scheduled jobs now, as I've mentioned on previous videos. They're a nightmare. You get messed about, all the waiting time increases massively. You need to be there like 10 minutes before the job, and then they don't have 3 minutes to come out, they have like 5 minutes to come out of it. They're treated like royalty just because you've pre-booked. It makes no sense. And then on top of that, the other time, that other one that was taken off me as well when I was on my way to it. So anyway, the total for the hours I've done this morning and this evening, I know I've only done 2 hours this evening, is £157.23. Which works out at £19.65 an hour, which is isn't too bad, to be honest. So that's 157. Like, I'll look at last Thursday, that was only 127. Thursday before, 36. Thursday before that, a 181. Thursday before that, 113. Yeah, so to now that's my second best Thursday. So it's hasn't been too bad of a shift, to be honest. Especially when you're finishing on an average. I know this morning it was really slow. Where was I? I think I was like £13 an hour or something, or even less. And throughout the day it's slowly been creeping up. I got into the 15 and 16, and then we've ended up not far off £20 an hour, which again is comparable to like a Friday shift, really. It's only really a Saturday shift can take you, maybe around 25 up to £30 depending. So yeah, all in all, not too bad. That's about it. So I'm gonna go in now and start all again tomorrow. So I'm hoping to do a decent shift tomorrow. Got a couple of little jobs I need to do. So if I'm lucky, I might get out around midday, and then I'll be out then until midnight or 1 o'clock. So yeah, I should get a good 12-13 hours in tomorrow, hopefully. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.